Okay, I think we're up. It is very hot, and I have quite a headache. I was actually contemplating just not doing this today, but I figured it's going to be mostly coloring. You know, we should be able to manage. Let me double check that this is working. If it's not working at the moment, you probably can't even hear me at this point. I'm 2 feet away, but it's a directional mic. Okay, sorry about the fan noise. I'm sure that's picking up. It might not be. It's pretty directional. We'll see. But sorry in advance. Like I said, I think it's like 10 a.m. I think it's already like 100 degrees. It's so hot. I think it was well over 100 for me yesterday. Fucking boiling. What if I search the weather maybe? Got to be over 90, right? Oh wow, it's only just over 80. Okay. I wonder why it's so hot in here. Anyway, we got a woman to work on. Um, you know, I feel like I want to redo the face a little bit. Maybe slim it up somehow and like tilt it a little more. I'm just not sure how to do that right now. So we'll hold off on any more work on that. But I think for now we should be good to like work on this. Uh, it's been like so hot lately that like it's just impossible to sleep. Like, you got to turn your ceiling fan on, and even that's not really enough. And plus, my fucking ceiling fan, like clicks. It's honestly really annoying. I just realized this is all the same color, so I can probably get away with something like that, maybe. Um, so yeah, I feel like it's just not good right now. Usually it's like hot in what's considered the summer around here, but it's like suffocatingly hot. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the hottest year on record in California. Like it'll get hard to fucking breathe. At first I thought maybe it was like something in my house, but it's like this like elsewhere too. Like at work sometimes. It's not so bad like in office because they just have the AC on 24/7, which is fucking fantastic. But like out in the lot when I'm like maybe going to get lunch or something, which I don't think I'll be doing that for the next month of work because I don't think there'll be anything. Be in office lunchtime. Um, but like the like outside part. Usually I have to like walk to whatever food they maybe got us. It's just like so fucking hot. You're sweating, like walking down the stairs to like get to where you're going. That's it. Ridiculous. Probably doesn't help today that I'm wearing a shirt with a image on it. It's a cat in a booth that says hissing booth. Thought it was funny. Also, I think it was like really cheap. It's like one of those not breathable shirts, unfortunately. Especially like ones with graphics are usually like this. It's just not particularly breathable. It's funny, but like it's just hard to wear most of the time because of that. All right, I think we'll be good on that. Most excellent. Probably like get a towel to fucking wipe my head down here. I feel like this might be a picture I at some point revisit. Sometimes I see ones like that and I work on them, right? And I'm like, I would like to redraw this when I'm better. Like I'd like to redo Ishtola when I'm better. Um, I'd like to continue maybe drawing people as dinosaurs. I don't know that it's necessarily the same people, but like I like to draw another raptor. I'd like to revisit drawing my cat because I want to like do her justice. I feel like I didn't do her justice. You know, I have a paper towel here. Um, Maybe I can wipe some the old sweat off. Should I sell this? Does anyone want to buy a sweaty paper towel? It's funny. I feel like all right. So sweating is supposed to cool you down, right? I feel like sometimes it makes me hotter though. I think what it is because it will saturate the clothes and make it less breathable, and therefore like defeats the purpose of sweating. It no longer works to cool me down or something. I don't know. That's what I feel like. It could just be psychological that I'm like, I'm sweating. It's grotesque. I don't like the way it feels. Right, feeling all sticky. It could be like I said, psychological, and I'm just sitting there like I hate it, and therefore the misery adds to the heat, and I'm just like overall miserable. That could be it. I'm trying to do like longer, cleaner strokes here. Trying to stroke it, you know what I mean? Uh, so I can hopefully work on keeping them clean and do better for like line art stuff. Cause like, look at this shit. I'm probably also going to come in and like redo line art for this, which probably still is gonna suck, but there's not a lot I can do. I just missed that line entirely. Okay. Get that off the screen. Right. Okay. Wait. I swear I just like accidentally did it here and pulled like the same color. That was that was interesting. Okay. You know, it's kind of nice that this is effectively just like a handful of colors for this part. I know it's probably not actually, but okay. I feel like I work cleaner lines when I have both arms up. Is that fucking weird? I've been going through like former inventory. It's not really inventory anymore. I mean, I guess it is. I'd like to sell it if I could. Stuff I had to sell. Um and I'm finding stuff that like fell off of listings. Actually what usually would happen is I would get it as a return, for example. Like I have a bunch of Timex that were returned to me and the box was super fucked up. The stand is damaged. Maybe there's some dings on the watch. And I was like, at the time, I just kind of thought about it, and it's like, well, I paid. I think one of them, for example, I paid $11 for it. It's returned to me. I had to basically pay $8 to ship it to them, and eight and back, so it was 4 and 4, something around there. Might have been 10. I do get the fees back, but it's like I'm in it basically $19 now, and then when I do resell it, it's going to be another like $4 in fees, $3 in fees. Now it's going to be $6 to ship it, so I'll be in it $18. It's going to cost like $9 including fees and shipping. So I'm going to be in it like $27, and it's like a $30 watch, right? That's brand new, and I no longer have the box and whatnot because it was destroyed by the person, because apparently they don't know how to open things. So like I can't really sell it. I think the one I'm thinking about right this second is actually like a $40 one. So I've got it up for now 35. I'll probably get 30, so I maybe make $3 assuming they don't return it again, which would once again fuck me over. But like the point being, back then I was like, well, I'll just take it down for now because actually the price was lower. I think it was like $20 for like a pre-owned. I mean, you could probably argue that the price is the same because of inflation. So, like, I'm not really making or standing to make my money back still, right? The value of it is just reflecting, like, the inflation numbers. That's absolutely true. But, like, now I think I've got it up for 30 something. And I figure if somebody wants to offer me a little less, I'll just get my money out of it. But, like, before, I was thinking, like, well, shit, I'm basically not going to make any money. I might even lose money selling it. I might as well just like maybe give it to my father or something. Or which I have done with things. Like I recently did that with one of the Timexes. I think that one was 15 bucks, and I think this one actually went for like 50 ish, so I could have made money on it, except the bezel, it had like this like white rubberized bezel, had faded to yellow because it was basically the person like tried it on and got sweat on it, and I put it back and it was fine, but that sweat over time broke it down. Like I wiped it down when I got it with like I think warm water and soap because you could tell somebody had worn it. But it's like, well, I'm just kind of stuck with it for now. Um, I think what happened was I had it listed as new other for a while, and then I was like, well, no, it's kind of just pre-owned at this point. And then I like to rotate what's on like my eBay, so it's not just showing that I have the same thing in for 5 years or something, and people are gonna be like, oh well, obviously nobody's buying this for a reason. Yeah, that reason is people don't have money. um, but you know what I mean? Like I wanted it to kind of like have a rotating thing, and then maybe people would be like, oh shit, I was watching this. Where did it go? And then boom, it's back in stock. Oh, maybe I'll get it this time. I usually send offers before I do something like that if I'm really trying to get rid of it. But now I'm just going to probably put everything I can up and get it out of here because it's basically a done thing. You can't really sell things anymore with this economy and this president, irrespective of how you might feel about the guy for some reason or another. Just not facilitating a good economy for, I guess, really commerce, which is a crazy statement. There's a lot of commerce out there, but yeah, it's just not really possible. And this is effectively on my end entirely domestic too. So I have found that some of the stuff that I've like been rotating out is now worth more. Once again, inflation does have something to do with it, so it's like not really worth more. It's just that people, the value of the money is less, so it's technically more because the price is worth the same or the item's worth the same. It's just that the value of the money is less. But some of them are actually also in part due to, for example, this watch. If it's a Zodiac watch, they're now technically all discontinued until further notice. If they come back, when they come back, if they come back, you know what I mean? There's no telling if they'll produce any of the same models as before, or if they'll be Swiss anymore, if they'll be good anymore. Um, so, fuck. So there's like uh, a higher chance of me, like I said, getting technically more money. I don't know if it's really like much more than before just because of inflation, but I had some stuff up and then I took it down because what would happen, I think, is people would buy stuff basically the same way I do, but they would probably have like a full on license for buying something wholesale and then like use that to like not pay fees. And you're supposed to pay the fees and taxes later at the end of the year, so you do still end up paying them, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but they don't pay them up front. Therefore, they're they're gonna just kind of like let it go. I might be misthinking about this actually. Hold on. Maybe you don't. Maybe well, I guess you would. Well, if you sell it on eBay. Anyway, they would find a way to get it cheaper than me, or maybe they can send it out cheaper than me or something. But they would usually undercut me by enough that my stuff just wouldn't sell. So what I would do is I'd take stuff down, and then they'd like immediately put their stuff to a higher price, and then I either like the price I had for mine, or maybe even higher than I had for mine, and then I'd put my stuff back up. But sometimes they just would, you know, match me, and if their price matched to me, and usually they offer what I would call a fake warranty. There's no real warranty on it. It's like on eBay they call it a seller warranty, and they're like, well, yeah, I'll warranty it for a year or something. Yeah, I wouldn't trust that. I'm sorry. You know, no offense, but every offense, I wouldn't trust most eBay sellers. As someone who sells on eBay, I wouldn't trust them at all. The fees and whatnot are too high to make some of the things happen. And generally, in my experience, if I have something for sale, it's generally just the one thing. You know, especially like, let's say, for example, the Zodiac watches, there's no shot most people have like 20 of these and, know how to service it. They're almost certainly not like a watch shop. So they're not servicing it themselves. I can't imagine they're actually going to pay to service it. So at best, you're looking at them exchanging it for one that they maybe keep in inventory, is all I can think. But, to a lot of watch people, that's fucking sacrilege. You don't want a new watch in place of your old one. You want your watch back as original as possible, right? Because the whole reason you got it was probably to commemorate something, or because you really liked it and like you like that one's yours. You're not looking to, you know, have basically a leased watch that's new every 5 years or whatever, 2 years. You want yours. I was, like I said, looking, and I found. Well, I knew I had it. I like I had to move my stuff around. I didn't know exactly where it was, so I took it down. Um, but I found my I had a well, it's not really mine. It was for sale. The version of this that's navy blue. So I think it's like blue and orange. Um, I still have the picture of it. It's really cool looking. It's one of those things where the way I would do business, I talked about this for the most part, is I had to be okay with being the sole and final owner of something. Right, because at some point not everything can necessarily or will necessarily sell. So I try my best to buy things that I do like for myself, not because I necessarily wanted it or needed it, but because I was very confident I could make money on it, which pretty much everything I did buy, I could and can. It's just a matter of someone buying it and having that money tied up, which is just not really feasible unless you have a lot of money. Um, which is, a mistake someone like me might make. Um, yeah, I don't have. I must have deleted the picture of it. Um, Probably because I already uploaded it. But man, looking at it, it's so cool. I think it's gonna go pretty quick because I can probably undercut most of the people there. I think they have theirs up for like 1,100. I can probably do mine for about 1,000 if I'm not mistaken. I believe I've put it up for like just under 1100 with best offer or something like that. Or maybe I didn't put it up yet. Hold on. I think I put something else up for that. I think I put a different color up for that because I did have that one too, but that one I didn't like as much, but the navy one is just so cool. I'm a sucker for blue. Blue hair, blue watches, the blues, Blues Clues, craft blue box. Just not blue balls. It's not right, you know? Don't do that to a man. Just realized this is blue. I mean, I knew it was blue, but I was like, in my head, so I have kind of like two setups more or less. This over here where I can keep the tablet without it being constantly in my way, and over there where no tablet. And I have a green version of this that's really fucked up at this point. Basically, it came in a 2-pack of green and this, so I just put this over here. And it's funny, over here I end up using, I really only use this setup for art stuff. But I end up using the wrist pad for here. And over here, here's the green one. It's really fucked up from like where it's weird. I don't even feel like I put my wrist in the center one. It's usually on one of the side ones. I flip it over. I was hoping to do the wear evenly. I don't know how it's like all fucked up here. But the other setup is like all green. It's got like a Lord of the Rings theme. Actually, the keycaps are white and blue. I forgot I swapped out keyboards because the other one kept disconnecting. And I didn't feel like putting on, taking off the other keycaps, which I think were actually just black, so. But I had the O-rings on those keycaps, which was kind of nice. How hard will this be? There we go. Oh, hey. These are, fuck, what are these called? I think they're like magnetic switches or something. I forgot. But basically an O-ring is, this doesn't have them, but it's a little like rubber ring that goes around the stem in there. And it's actually probably wouldn't work with this keyboard now that I'm looking at it. But it's so that when you push down, you can't really hear that clack. You probably couldn't hear that anyway because it's a very directional mic. Actually, one second, I think. All right, I didn't find what I was looking for, but I found something else. This is an O-ring. So I put them on this thumb stud because it's kind of like sharp around the edges. These came with another knife, the one I was looking for. I don't know where I put it, which is not good. Maybe I sold it. That was a Three Rivers manufacturing knife. That one has really, they're terrible thumb studs. You are required to put these on it because it cuts in. I think I sliced my finger on one of them once. So these are O-rings. It's the same thing. You know, you put them on things that need to be sealed for like water tightness. That's what these are generally used for, but now they're kind of used as like a rubber stopper. The reason these suck on that knife, So it's not really required on this. It's just kind of nice. On that knife, it's absolutely required. The thing is, this absorbs moisture. Generally, you keep a pocket knife, believe it or not, in your fucking pocket. Pockets are next to the human body. It's really fucking with my tracking because I'm like looking at the mic and leaning in. The human body fucking sweats. It gets really fucking moist. This absorbs that, dries out over time as well. So it's basically dying to dryness and hydrolysis at the same time somehow. And they crack, which means you have to buy new O-rings. Well, the easiest way to do that is to, of course, go through their website and buy them because you know they'll fit. But you can also just buy like literally any plumbing O-ring. Also, while looking for that, I found this. I have a titanium bead. I think this was from Kaiser at some point. What knife should I put this on? Should I sell it? I think most of my knives either have no bead or a donut bead. Alright, sorry about that. Genuinely confused where that other knife went, so I'm gonna have to fucking hunt that thing down. I'll check my sales later. I should be able to do that. I don't think it sold because I had a lame version. Um, Basically, I got it at like just the start of the hype, and so I had like a lot of offers for a little more, but I wouldn't have been able to really make any money on that. And eventually, their production caught up with the hype, so I kind of just got stuck with it, or I'll have to sell it to basically the same amount as before. But I think mine had JG10, which used to be really, really desirable, but stopped being so. Basically, people used to like JG10 because it was newish. Like, people didn't really do it, sometimes called raw G10 because that's just how it looks before you dye it. But people would buy it so they can dye it whatever the color they wanted, sometimes like rainbow effects, or because they disliked that it was semi transparent. But by the time that I ended up getting that one, um, like I said, the hype was starting to really go up and they were selling out, so you couldn't really get one except for secondhand. And so I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and put it up. And unfortunately, people really only wanted the micarta version or the titanium version. So there was just really no selling it um, on my terms, which is fine. Sometimes you effectively take a loss like that, which I might have done. Like I said, I don't necessarily want everything I buy to resell. You know, it's usually like a matter of opportunity. It's usually like, oh, here's this for, let's say it's like, I'm going to use really simple and relatively high numbers to make the point. Honestly, most of this stuff is like $5 Timex that I can resell for $30, but I'm not actually making $30. I'm maybe making like $10 because eBay and shipping and all of that. Um, and like the volume of returns. A lot of people, hold on, I'll get to this in a second actually. I was gonna say something about a lot of people on eBay, but we'll get to that in just a moment. My point was like, you know, if I buy something that's normally 500 bucks, I would have to have bought it for like 200 bucks, and then I'd sell it for like 350, right? Because to me, just putting it back up for 500 is dickish, you know? Like, you're not really going to entice people to sell or to buy at that point. You're not really giving anyone a deal. It's just that I happen to like go to a Nordstrom rack, for example, local to me, and pick it up. That's not something someone in, say, Wisconsin could have done. Theirs didn't have it at that price. So now I have a semi expensive Tissot watch that, wouldn't have otherwise been available to this person, that now they don't have to pay the full $500 for it if they don't want to, but they really want the watch. Now they can get it for a little less. So they save money. I save money. Or I make money. And everybody's happy. That's usually how it works. Not always, but usually. But what I was going to say before is, well, sort of after, I guess. I don't know. uh, what what happens sometimes, especially with the Timex, is people would get it. This happens actually also with like more expensive watches all the time. People will get it, they'll wear it, and they'll not like it, and they'll return it. So with the Timex, they'll wear it, they'll beat it up, they'll like be maybe not used to wearing a watch or something, and they'll break it, or they'll buy it as a gift for someone, and that person doesn't like it. So like they open it, they try it, things like that, and they'll say, "Oh, the battery's dead, it doesn't work," and they'll return it to me. And I've only ever had one dead battery returned to me, like it was actually a dead battery, and I'm very confident that the person actually swapped the battery on me. I think they bought it to take the battery out and return it. It was very strange because I could see the tool marks on the back of the watch. All I can think other than that is, well, I by the way, I test things before I send them out, which is why I think that's the case. It's not that it couldn't have been dead. It's just that it's weird to me that you'd try to replace a battery on something you just got. Because I personally, if I just got something and the battery was dead, I'd be like, "Yo, I'm not dealing with this. Can I have my money back?" I buy it from Amazon. I'm just returning it. Like, why would I replace a battery? It could have more wrong with it. I don't really know it's the battery. There's no point in opening it up. Just give me my money back, please, or exchange it for one that's going to work. That's how I'm going to roll. I'm not going to try and open it at all. So to me, there's really only one reason to open it, and that's if you want to steal the battery. I don't know why you wouldn't just buy a battery. They're not that expensive. I mean, I guess you get a free battery, but um, that's one of the ones where they also destroyed the box, interestingly enough. But all of this was to say that, people will buy stuff and try it on as well. So this would happen as well with like more expensive stuff. So let's say maybe I were to have a watch up for 1,500 bucks, which is less than anyone else. Maybe it's normally 2,000 bucks, but it's, just not that available. Maybe mine's not as in good condition, but it's still pretty nice. Um, so we got it up for 15 and we sell it and they wear it for 2 weeks because they wore it to like their wedding. This is actually something that's happened before. So they wear it to their wedding. You can see it in pictures like, on like their social media or something. Um, Usually I don't honestly bother checking. This actually genuinely happened. The guy I think got married and like rented it basically at my expense for his girlfriend. He said it was for him, but basically, I ended up looking the guy up because he called me about it. Uh, I sent him a message saying like, at some point, all right, here's what happened. I sold it to him. He didn't pick it up right away. It had to be signed for. So I just called him to let him know it was at his, because he had his email or his phone number there, to let him know that it was at his local post office. Because if he doesn't go and pick it up, it gets returned to me, and then I get shit because they'll be like, oh, I never sent, the seller never sent it, and then eBay's like, well, why didn't you ever send it? And then I have to explain to them they need to check the thing to see that he just never signed for it. And it's just, they'll eBay would in fact side with me on that point if he left a bad feedback and all that, but it would just be more hassle than it's worth to just call the guy. um so that's what I would do. I would just call them, um which is what I did do. And that unfortunately gave the guy my number, and he's like, thank you. And then like 2 weeks later he's like, yeah, so I think it's fake and all this shit, and you can literally just go to, like, I think there's currently a dealer who had the exact same copy up, who's a very reputable dealer, but the guy wasn't really having it. um like, there's nothing suspicious about the watch at all, but the I end up looking the guy up because he's like really trying to talk to me. It's very weird. Usually people are just like, "Oh, it's fake. I want my money back." Return, or if it's a scam, they'll just say, "Send me a refund. I'm not sending you back the fake. It was confiscated or whatever." That's a pretty common scam. Um, or you'll sometimes get, it's fake, and I want to return, and you just got to go along with it because otherwise they're gonna full on scam you. Um, So I just immediately said, "Hey, I'm very confident it's real." I told him and showed him the like other dealers who had the, like I said, the exact same setups, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, wow, this is probably real." Anyway, I'm still gonna return it. And then he's like, "Well, you've been so nice. I really appreciate this. I'd like to invite you to my sushi restaurant." I'm like, "What the fuck? I don't want to go to your sushi restaurant." Um, but I said, "Yeah, I'm not, not gonna fucking do that." Anyway, he's just like being super weird about it. So I end up looking the guy up because he had originally had bought it under actually a woman's name. It wasn't his own name. So I was kind of curious. I end up looking them up, and what comes up right away is their Instagram, and in the Instagram latest pictures, they're wearing the watch. Some of them, I think the guy was wearing it, but most of them, the girl was wearing it. I don't know what happened there, but basically, I'm pretty sure they just bought it to rent. I think it was like their, like I said, wedding or honeymoon photos or something, or I don't quite remember at this point. But people do that. They'll like buy something to wear for a couple days, or I think it was 2 weeks for this one. And now I'm out. I think in that case I was out almost $100 because of insurance and signature fees for the shipping. Um, because it's a, like, I think it was like $1,500 is what I ended up selling it to him for, which was less than listed. So I think I had it listed for like almost 1,800, and I still worked with the guy on the price. Um, I just, you do what you can, but it's very common, like I said, for people to just buy something to try on, or to, buy it and wear it for a week, basically rent it, and then return it. And they'll say, "Oh, it's fake. It's not as described," which makes it so that I have to pay the shipping. Now, sometimes eBay will work with you. If you call them too much, though, they kind of give up on you. So you have to pick your battles. Sometimes eBay will work with you and be like, yeah, so you've now taken a picture of what you sent them after they've sent it back and they said it wasn't as described, but you're showing us a picture of what it was described. We can't prove you sent that, so you don't get your money back. Or if you're lucky, they'll say, okay, well, we can see that it was in fact as described. It just depends on who you get. So they'll say, we can see that it was in fact as described. You're showing, usually the best way to do this is to record yourself opening the return. And they'll be like, yeah, so we can see it was as described. You did just open that. And that means that they lied. And so what happens? You still had to have paid the shipping to them, but they will refund you for the money they took to have it shipped back to you. So you still lose one-way shipping, but I'm not even sure if they charge the other person for the shipping. That I think eBay just covers it in that case. It depends. I don't really know, but it's fucking a lot of money sometimes. Some of it's $6. That's $12 if they return it and get you on the return shipping, right? There's really no way to get coverage. Yeah, coverage for the. I was gonna say get covered for the shipping there. You're pretty much always on the hook for that. But sometimes the return shipping can be got if you can prove they lied about something. Um, but yeah, people will do that. It's the worst when they do it with something that's new. So like the one I was talking about was actually a pre-owned vintage watch that I got for a really good price, I thought. Uh, a lot of people show interest in it, but you know, it's even at a good deal of about $1,500 is what I would take for it. In this current market, I think I paid around 1,100 for it, which was probably more than I should have spent on anything in inventory. But you live, you learn. Um, even if I were to have like sold that, it was still already pre-owned, so we're fine. But some stuff that happens too, I send new, and so they end up taking like the plastic off because it'll have like a plastic coverage so that it doesn't get scratches. They'll get scratches on it. They'll throw away the booklets and the papers and sometimes the box. In fact, that last one I was talking about was a vintage Cartier. They threw away. I think they stole the box. I don't know that they threw it away. The box is probably worth like 100 of those dollary dues. So he stole the fucking box. I forgot to mention that. But people like things disappear. They steal the extras. Maybe it comes with like a little card, or because they want to have the warranty card. It's just so hard to do business, which is why I'm basically done with it. I would like to get money for things that I've had stored up, but I've really, unless it's an incredible deal, I've really stopped buying things to sell. I have bought some things that I'm like, well, this is kind of like more of an investment where, it's likely to not go, it's not going to go just throwing numbers out there from $5,000 to $10,000 in 2 weeks and I'll be able to get my money like that. It's more like it's going to hopefully appreciate in value without depreciating, you know. It's going to hopefully like not be super subject to inflation type of deal. Okay. All right. File. Save as. Should have done this actually a little sooner. I think we just have the heart left. Let's get some water and we'll take a second. Sorry, that was right into the mic. I should have stayed muted for that. Okay. Um, so we need to stand up. Not a good idea because now I'm no longer in the path of the fan. What do we do about the head? I don't feel like I'm catching the expression that I want to catch. I'm thinking we delete the color we've got, try and tilt it, and maybe like slim up the face a little bit. What do we think? I could change the hair maybe to something that's less bulbous so that it maybe makes it feel a little thinner. Hmm. Okay. So for now, we're gonna work on this little heart thing. Should be pretty quick and easy. Oh, I didn't realize this wasn't actually connected here. Sorry about that. Somebody's probably been screaming about that since yesterday. I doubt it, actually. I don't think anyone watches these with any sort of regularity. Thank you if you watch these. Anyway, this whole thing has just been to say don't ever fucking try and run a small business. It's just a money sink. You're just going to lose every step of the way. You need a lot of money to make it work. You need so much money that you can do a volume that it doesn't matter if you gain losses. It's as simple as that. As unsimple as that is, that's it. That's the answer. Okay. So here's what I think we do. I could, in theory, just move both. But I think it would be best if we just redo the color on the face after a thing. I know that's gonna kinda suck, but sometimes you do what you gotta do, you know? Like to try and do this in one stroke. Thankfully, the face won't be too hard to redo, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm probably gonna change the hair color. I still haven't quite decided yet, so it's gonna be a last minute change, I guess. Um, Feeling black or maybe blue just to kind of change it up. I feel like there's a lot of orange in this picture, and I'm unsure of the blue because it's pretty close to like these blue-gray robes. So, quite unsold on that matter. Oh, there's some fucking peach in there still. Okay, so first, let's go back to base. Get rid of anything we apparently missed, which is a lot, it seems. Then we go to Lart. Let's clean up the lines. Okay. I'm trying to like slim it up. I don't know. I feel like it just looked really weird before. I feel like it looks kind of weird now too. I feel like now the head's too small, isn't it? Okay. Should be concerned that I think I smell smoke. I feel like probably, right? I wonder if a big part of it is the mouth. Maybe the eyes? I feel like the eyes look kind of mean. And I want them to feel a little softer. Feel like it's too long of a neck now. I'm fucking losing it here. That in there. Yeah. right? So let's just move this slightly down to here, maybe. Okay, hear me out. Fuck, this is gonna be hard. Okay. What if we try and shrink this? Okay. So now we go to base, and all your base are belong to us now. And I think this is the right color, but if it's not, it's not. Okay. Think we might have to move the head one more time. Okay. Fixing that did help quite a bit, I think. I do feel like how do you put this dress on? Is it, I guess it's a slip-on? Like there's no buttons in the front. There's no like ties. I guess maybe the back has something, but it's like that's a huge pain in the ass for a wizard unless you use magic to do it. Maybe yeah, you just slip it on and you tie the belt so that it doesn't fly off. And I guess this red thing is so that your skirt doesn't flip up too much and show that you're running commando under there. You know? It's like a stiff leather coil or something. Chap. Alright. I feel like the angle's okay. I just don't like my proportions on her face. I think it's just not right, and I don't quite know how to fix that. I feel like it's not wide enough to match that, but if I make it wider, it just doesn't look right. I think also part of the problem is there's no color, there's no shading. It really does negatively affect the general appearance of things like this. I'll save as. Let's switch to ping. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Should we switch off the hair? The thing is, I'd like to, like I said, maybe... I'm thinking black hair. I'd like to give her black hair. I guess I was torn between like a black or like a blue. I think the blue would be just too much with the like blurple gray, purple glue color. You know what I mean? It's like bluish, purplish gray. I just think that'll be too much blue. Although it would kind of complement it in the same manner. I'm also thinking we'll have some blue, hopefully, in the background, and it might kind of blend to that. So if I do black, well, the problem with black is it's fucking black. Um, so it's just kind of be really hard to do some shadow in it. The benefit is the way they've got the shadows. I think I might be able to get away with just having it be like black and then like gray over the top, and that should have most of the shadow covered because it's going to be like a reverse shadow, you know? Fuck it, dude. Let's just grab some skin. We'll redo the face and we'll worry about that when we get there. Story of my life, bro. The struggle to worry about it when I have to, which is always filled with anxiety and impending death. I'm thinking we change the eyes to be like open and blue. I think that would be cool. Be kawaii, as the kids say. Very dark brown could work for the hair. What we can do is the hair, and we should be able to just completely change its color at any moment. So we'll check out this dark brown, because here's the thing. There's not really any black hair. I get told my hair is black all the time. It's just really dark brown. And honestly, it kind of turns like red in direct sunlight. The thing is just most people can't actually see the top of my head where that happens. So they think it's black. But I can see the top of my head uh, in the sun, particularly if I like use a mirror or a phone to, basically see that. So I know it's not black, but most people think my hair is black. I don't think I've ever met anyone whose hair is actually black. Sunlight or really good indoor lighting usually exposes it for like the deep reddish brown that it probably really is. Um, but black is cool. It's just gonna be really hard, like I said, to shade. Um, We'll see. We will see. Ooh, well, actually, it shouldn't matter because the lart is on a separate layer, so it shouldn't. We shouldn't have anything to worry about with shading. Or not shading, with filling. Sorry, with filling. Okay. So, couple reasons why I'm thinking maybe very dark brown is, like I said, I think realistically nobody's hair is actually black, but we have the eyebrows to consider. If I make those black, they're just gonna look like black lines, and they're gonna really blend in with the hair that they are in. That's not the end of the world, but not really gonna make a whole lot of visual sense. It's gonna kind of fuck with your eyes here. Not the end of the world, though. If we do this brown, it's got like a similar effect where it's very dark. What if we maybe find a black on the spectrum here? So let's go black. Maybe like come down one. So now if I do that and I go to black. Oh, okay. Well, that's very noticeably different. I keep forgetting to switch to this. Something like this might be the play, actually. Let's save. Stand up. We can do anything with the eyes later, so I'm not too worried about it because we'll probably just have to draw that over. What do we think of this? If we do this, we can go a little lighter. Hold on, let's zoom in. So we'll have basically sunlight hitting here, so we'll go one shade lighter. Or we could actually just do a lighten. I almost never do lighten anymore. I just feel like it's easier to like do it the opposite way by making things darker around it so that your color seems lighter. But maybe lighten will be the play for this. But basically this will be lighter. This will be the color that it is, and maybe a little darker here, and then maybe full black for the eyebrows. That could work. Because if I do full black for the eye, oh, that's too much for the eye. Well, okay. So let's pick this, and then what if we just go over as a little too brown, just a little darker for the eyebrows? I feel like is the play. So can we go in on this a little bit? We can. What do we think? Do we do the under hair thing? Probably, huh? Okay. We're gonna try a lighten thing. So with lighten, I haven't been using it because I just feel like it's easier since I have the references to just take the colors that I want and like do a shade layer instead. But with lighten, what's going to happen is I believe we put it on top. It's been a little bit. We change it to a lighten layer. And we basically just switch to white, and then something that's going to give us maybe like a thick but doable swath. Um, so something like this, and what we'll do is we'll just hit it in spots. Okay, that's not quite working. Does it's not on bottom, is it? No, I didn't think so. It might be, I think I have to change the layer property to opacity like 50. Maybe the brush opacity 50 too would be smart. This doesn't even seem to actually be doing anything. If I go back to opacity 100. Oh, I went back too far, sorry. And then this opacity 50. Okay. I feel like this isn't bad, but maybe what I do. Hold on. All right. This is pretty easy to re-replicate, so do that. Get all that out of there. We'll take this. What if I like do okay, that won't work right now. What if I do this though? I use the color from that to do the lighten. We probably want 100% opacity on this. I think this might be the play. Okay. Okay. They're really close. I probably could have just done the same thing. Don't really feel like this is working. Zoom in. What if I use this instead? Hmm. Interesting. What does it mean? We'll do face stuff later. I'm not really feeling the way this is working out for us. All right, so I'm really feeling like alignment's kind of crooked. I think the shoulders needed to be a little wider here. Um, Not really much I can do about it at this point. I mean, there is, but there isn't, you know? Whoever originally did this did such a nice job. Small little details like this that make me feel like this was not in any way, shape, or form AI. Arms are pretty wide open here, so I think we could probably get away with like a little bit of lighting right here. What are we thinking? Got to get some stuff going on the hand over here. Work on the staff maybe a little bit. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. All right. I think we're getting there. So let's maybe make this like that color or something. I don't know how I'm going to do the background. I feel like I don't really have the skill to make like good trees or anything. And there's a lot of them. I don't really know how to do foliage. I know there's some brushes that kind of give a leaf pattern effect. I guess maybe we get into that. I'm thinking what we do is we'll do a background layer. We'll put it in front of everything and we'll just start doing it and there will be background behind her so that there's continuity and consistency. And what I'll do is probably just like try and copy the color. I don't know how I'm gonna do the grass. Maybe similar to what we did on the rice shower thing. I don't think that looked very good, but I don't really know how else to do it without drawing like individual thick blades of grass. Um, whew, I feel like I'm not sure what to do at this moment. Hmm. I do think there's more to do on her. Obviously, I'd like to clean up her lines a bit. And we're still pretty unsure about like I feel like we need to do the ribbon, for example. I don't really like the yellow. Maybe we do blue, but then that's gonna have the same problem as not picking blue hair. I feel like we gotta do something a little better with the hair we've got, by the way. Let's maybe I don't know, I feel like it's feeling a little plain. What if we do like a shade layer? We're gonna be getting a little more fancy, I guess, if you will. Not like super fancy or nothing. So we'll do a shade layer. We'll clear this all up. Um, so we'll take the color and then we'll just like go a little darker. Okay, so doing the under layer just doesn't really work, which is fine. We're just gonna have to do it that. Ooh, I forgot about that. We gotta be careful. So yeah, we'll just have to do an over layer with the shade. I think it's like multiply is what we're supposed to be doing with it, but we're not doing multiply right now, so do 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 do. We're gonna try and do like a bit of a softer look with the shading. I don't want it to look super hard like the light. I just kind of want it to be almost like detail. I want it to be very subtle. I want it to be like different colors in certain areas because of it, but I don't really want it to feel like it's a different color, you know? Like up close you can kind of tell that obviously it's a different color, but then like I want you to be like, "Oh shit, that's a different color," you know, when you zoom in rather than being like something just looks good about this. I want it to be subtle. I don't want you to be able to be like, okay, so he used like an exact different color here and this is the color. Right? Like looking at this from afar, you don't really think about this. You think like, oh, big ass leaves. That's about it. That's what I want. But like it just is adding a little bit of dimension Yeah, the fucking proportions are way off and whatnot, but it's adding a little bit of dimension, and I feel like it's kind of needed. I don't want it to be like super dark or anything. I just want it to feel like I said, there's something going on here. Something happening here. And I know there's something happening here. So we're going for like a very soft, shadowy look. We can clean up the outer part later. I'm guessing it's going to be... So what I'm probably going to do is do a nice clean layer. Nice clean layer for me. For the outer line art again. And we'll use that to... Uh, in effect, get rid of hopefully this stuff by putting it behind the background. Oh, I need to add to the lighten layer here. That's fine. We'll do that later. Somebody remind me. Okay. Okay. Oh, shit. I knew that was going to get me. We were playing a dangerous game with that one. Obviously, we are now quite deviating from the original, but I think it's worth it. It's adding depth. It's adding color. And, you know, that's not to say the original was bad or anything. It's really good. It's an animation, though, so they obviously, like, didn't want to take the time to do this for every single frame. It would have taken way too long. I bet whoever drew the original probably is way better than me, right? I mean, obviously, even with less like detail in her, I think theirs looks better still. But you know what I mean? Like whoever drew the original probably has done stuff way better and way more complicated than what I'm doing now. So it's really not much to talk about here. I'm just doing my best to do what they've done justice, as best as I can, which is not very good. But I do want to try and do good. I want to do better. Okay. You know, zoomed in, I really don't feel like this looks particularly good. But zoomed out, I do think it looks a lot better than what I had before. I wouldn't say it really looks better than what they did, but I do kind of feel it. I'm thinking we might have to erase this for now. I think I might have this backwards, actually. I'm not sure. But we do need some more color in here, so we'll probably have to invent that. I I think we got to think about it. I'm thinking like putting some creases in the shirt so it feels a little less flat. But for now, we're going to save it. We're going to step back and we're going to address things because I'm probably just about done for the day. Okay, so let's talk about it. I think it's coming along. The background is going to be a mess. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I could change the background. I don't have to do the forest. I could maybe like do a night sky and like maybe just like a hill like on the bottom. So like a little bit of a grassy hill and a night sky and put the little firefly things in there and kind of mix it in so that it's kind of like the sky. That would be really cool, but then the lighting won't make a whole lot of sense and we copied their lighting. I was going to do like a little leaf litter in the lighting, but I mean that does save me from doing it. We could put a very bright moon like here so it maybe gives the vibe that that's where the light's coming from, or we could do two moons. I mean, it's fantasy, who cares? um that could work. We could do a moon and then maybe she's got like a swirl of her little firefly spell things and that's illuminating her in some spots. That would be cool. Maybe like a trail of light coming down from behind her and that could be the light coming towards maybe like her staff. We could maybe do something like that. That'll be hard. That'd be pretty cool though. Realistically, I probably won't have time to work on this until next weekend. So this is one of those rare times when you have potentially a say in what we do. So if you want me to go for the original elf girl setting, we didn't even draw her as an elf. She's her. Let me know. We'll do the forest. It's cool. I'll work it out. It's probably going to be pretty crude. It'll look like that lemon uh, thing we did. If you want me to maybe do the night spell thing, that'll probably be a lot easier overall for me. The spell might be hard to work out, but it'd be a cool vibe. Um, Let me know on stuff like that. If you think the hair color needs to change, let me know. I think blue still would be cool. It would also really help with the night sky thing. Um, I do feel like maybe I need a change here. I'll probably add maybe one more darker shade and one lighter shade to try and get like some more depth here. We'll probably add some folds here. We'll redo this. We'll probably add some like darker and lighter to this as well, the staff. And we'll probably try and copy what they did with their line art, where sometimes there's a break to kind of show like it's a flow of fabric. Actually, they really only did that with the neck piece, interestingly enough. And for the ribbon, we're probably going to do the ribbon. I don't know if we're going to do it as long. Do we want to do it yellow? I I would like maybe blue, like a sky blue. That'd be cool. Yellow, just so it's original. I don't know. Let me know, but we'll do something there. We can do a heart pin or something. I just feel like right here does feel a little empty, so I see why they put it there. Um, really feel that way about the dress too, which is why I added like an extra fold feeling, so it's a little more flowy feeling and a little more detailed. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get off for now. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Have a fantastic day, night, afternoon, whatever it is for you. I appreciate you. Hopefully, I can catch you in the next one, whenever that is. But until then, bye.